If you clicked on this video, chances are you probably want to get better at fingerboarding. Even if you're good at fingerboarding already, you can always get better. So today, I will be going over a bunch of different things that'll make you better at fingerboarding. I'm not gonna waste your guys' time, so let's jump straight into the video. Before I start talking about ways to position your fingers on the board that'll make you better, I just want to talk about the board itself first. This kind of goes out to anybody who just got a fingerboard yesterday, but make sure your board is set up correctly. This should be pretty obvious for most fingerboarders, but if you just got into fingerboarding, you might not know how to set up the board correctly. If you just got a fingerboard and you're unsure how to set it up, I made a full video about it. I'll put a link in the description if you want to go check it out. This kind of goes out to everybody, but something else that'll make you a lot better at fingerboarding is understanding how exactly the board works. I know this sounds kind of dumb, the wheels spin, the trucks turn, grip tape is grippy, pretty simple. But what I'm talking about is understand how your fingerboard works when you do tricks. For example, try doing a tray flip with super tight trucks, then loosen your trucks and try it again. Just understanding the basic principles about doing tricks on a fingerboard is gonna make you a lot better at fingerboarding. Get comfortable with adjusting things on your setup and it'll make you a lot better. This is the last thing I want to say about the board. Grip tape is so much more important than most people think. I know grip tape on a board is pretty simple, and it basically is. Make sure you invest in good grip tape before you actually start getting good at fingerboarding. Basically what I'm saying is not all foam grip tape is the same. If you're using a cheap fingerboard like this off Amazon that has foam grip tape, just know that this foam grip tape isn't anything like this stuff. Also remember that good grip tape isn't that expensive compared to wheels and trucks, and it also just helps so much more than you might think. Now that I've talked about the board, let's actually get good at fingerboarding. Very first thing I want to talk about is understand how fingerboard tricks actually work. I'm not really talking about how to do the trick, I'm just talking about what's happening when you do the trick. Definitely the best way to do this is just find slow motion videos on YouTube of people doing fingerboard tricks. Just by watching clips in slow motion, you're gonna understand exactly what's happening when somebody's fingerboarding. Also, if you watch a bunch of clips in slow motion, you're gonna start to pick up some patterns that similar tricks have. For example, you're gonna start to piece together how tray flips work and other tricks like varial kick flips and varial heel flips. Fingerboarding tricks are pretty simple once you kind of figure out the mechanics of them. The next thing I want to talk about is fingerboarding in an open space. I feel like a lot of people kind of don't realize how important this is, but just having a big open table to fingerboard on is gonna make you a lot better a lot faster. If you try and get good at fingerboarding on a small table with a lot of stuff, you're gonna realize it's kind of hard to progress. Make sure you have a nice smooth open table to fingerboard on, and this is just gonna make tricks a lot easier and a lot less frustrating. This next tip is something I feel like only some people struggle with, and this is also especially for beginners. If you're a beginner or you've been fingerboarding recently, you might experience this. I don't know why this happens, but this is probably one of the most frustrating things about learning how to do tricks. Your brain literally just won't let you pop up and do the trick, and this can also happen if you're fingerboarding in a tight space. Kind of back to having clutter everywhere, it's kind of hard to have enough room to fully commit for fingerboard tricks, and you might be stuck doing this. Even if you have a big open space and you're still struggling with just committing to pop the board up, I have something that'll fix that. That being tape. Take a small piece of tape and stick it on the table where you want to pop up, and I don't know what this does, but it actually just helps a lot. Just having a marker of where you need to pop, it just kind of triggers something in the brain that makes you able to pop every try. If you don't use tape, even just placing a pencil down and jumping over that helps a lot. If you have ever had a problem with popping the board up and you just get stuck in this pattern, drop a comment down below what helped you figure out how to pop. Placing tape down on a table is definitely what helped me, but I don't know what helped you, and drop a comment down below for other people to see. Something else I want to talk about is getting good at fingerboard tricks on a flat ground surface before taking them to obstacles. Don't get me wrong, because I still think fingerboard obstacles are great, but it can never hurt to get good at fingerboard tricks on flat ground before taking them to obstacles. I know that doing fingerboard tricks on a flat surface is kind of boring and it's more fun to do with obstacles, but obstacles can also bring bad habits for doing specific tricks, and just getting everything dialed on flat ground is really helpful. Something else that can be really helpful is getting good at one specific trick as you're learning other tricks. It's one thing to do a specific fingerboard trick, but it's another thing to do it good. As you guys probably can tell, kickflips are my favorite trick, and they're definitely the ones I'm the best at. It's kind of fun if you want to just do fingerboard tricks just to do them, but if you choose to get really good at a specific fingerboard trick, get it super clean, get it really consistent, that is going to help a lot of other tricks flow as well. It kind of doesn't matter what trick you decide to get good at, but just choose one and start getting it really dialed and consistent. The last thing I want to talk about is posting content fingerboard related. You're probably thinking, how does posting something on Instagram make me a better fingerboarder? And I will explain. Just from doing tricks and posting it on Instagram, you're gonna start getting a lot of comments and feedback for your fingerboard tricks. Even if you get like a little bit of hate about like how you do a fingerboard trick and not landing them properly, or just whatever it is, kind of just use that as motivation. Also, the fingerboard community is very connected over on Instagram, and you can ask a ton of people just for tips and tricks on how to get better. Also, filming fingerboard related content is just fun. Instagram was just an example, but you can pretty much use any platform. YouTube Shorts is a pretty good spot to grow your audience when it comes to fingerboarding, so go give it a try. I talked about quite a few ways to get good at fingerboarding in this video, and it might be a little bit challenging to apply everything I talked about to your fingerboarding skills. I'm kind of just recommending taking certain parts that make sense to apply to your fingerboarding, and you should see some pretty good progress. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I appreciate every single person watching this video. Leave a comment down below if you have any more questions, and I will see you in my next video.